Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful skirt with a front slit. If this sounds like something you're interested in, keep on watching and let's get on with the tutorial. For this tutorial, we'll be needing about a yard or 1.5 yards to make this skirt. Now the first thing I'll just go ahead to do is to fold my fabric in 4, just like you can see. Do well to leave at least 2 inches for the overlapping effect and make sure that what you have is like your hip measurement divided by 4 plus your extra seam allowance. The next thing I'm just going to do is to rule half an inch away from the top region, and this is going to serve as my starting or my waistline. From the waist or starting line, I'm just going to mark my band length measurement. So for me, I use 1.5 inch, and from that point I'll subtract 1.5 inch, and I'm going to take it all the way to my hip line. Now for my hip line, I'm using 8 inches. If you have a taller height, you can use 9 inches, and if you are shorter, you can use 7 inches, but 8 inches is the basics. So from that point, I will connect it all together. Now placing my tape rule still at that 1.5 inch region, subtracting it, I'm just going to go down by my knee line measurement. So for my knee line, I have it to be 22 inches. I'm going to mark it and connect it together. Then the next measurement I'm going to go ahead to take is the full length of this skirt. So I want this skirt to be 26 inches, and I also go ahead to mark out the full length. Now I have about 2 inches remaining. This is what I'm going to use to turn up the lining. So guys, let's go ahead to put in our measurements. Now from the side that is facing where the allowance for the zip and the overlapping is going to be, from that side of the front, I'm just going to go ahead to measure my waist measurement divided by 2, and I'm going to add 1.5 inches to that. And I also went ahead to take 1 inch for my dart allowance at that point. The next thing to do is that at the hip line, go ahead to divide your hip by 4, add your extra allowances to that. I added 1.5. I'll mark it at that point. Then at my knee length measurement, whatever I have at the hip line, I just went ahead to just subtract 1 inch from that, and I marked it there. And then at the hem line, I subtracted 1.5 inches from whatever I had at the hip line, and I also marked it there. I'll go ahead to use my ruler to trace out all these curves. After that, I'll just go ahead to fold this inwards, just like you can see, and then I'm going to go ahead to go up by how many I want it to be at the slit area. After determining that, I'm just going to go out by 1 inch all through for my zipper allowance. Now with all this being done, I'm going to cut out my pieces. Kindly make sure to watch where I am cutting. Go ahead to notch these important areas. I'll also go ahead to cut out my lining pieces. I cut my lining behind the cameras, and this is what I have. Now remember that we notched an area at the center side of the skirt, not at the middle, at the center side. Now this is where our actual full length of the skirt should be. This other one that is here is just for the turn up of the lining. I hope you get. Now the next thing I'm just going to do is to open it and align them both together as seen, and then stitch it on this area across horizontally for all the 3 pieces. That is for the front and the 2 side backs. Having done that, this is what I have. Now guys, the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to shift this and make sure that both the lining and the fabric, they are the exact point at the top region. Then I'll just go ahead to stitch it down for the both sides. Note that this same thing I'm doing is what I'm doing for the back also. Having stitched both sides, guys, this is what I have. Now on a normal basis, you're supposed to turn this out, but remember that I want to create a front slit, so I'll just go ahead to fold it in 2, just like you can see, and then I'm going to subtract my band measurement and then measure all the way to the down where I want my slit to start from. So guys, from that point, I'll just go ahead to mark my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 7 inches divided by 2, 3.5. I'm going to connect these lines together. Now guys, the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to mark half an inch from both sides in order to create this kind of triangular look. So from the dart line, I'll just go ahead to mark half an inch from both sides. It's going to be 1 inch, and I'm going to connect it all the way with my ruler. But I'll advise that you do 1.5 inches so that you can be able to have enough space to turn, because after I did mine, I realized that my scissors could not cut it through. I'll just go ahead to cut this open to illustrate what I mean. As you can see guys, on getting to the apex or tip of this slit, you can see that my scissors has interfered with our stitching line, which is not supposed to be so, because if I turn this inside out, that place is going to be open somewhat. So I'll just go ahead to run my stitch again and make sure that I do not stitch where on the area that I have cut out. Having done this, guys, this is what I have. I'll just go ahead to turn this to the right side and show you guys what it's looking like. Make sure that all the corners are out, and then I'll just go ahead to iron all of this very well. After ironing out all your pieces, just go ahead to first of all close it up at this area, stitch it across, and then I went ahead to also fix my darts for both the front and the back pieces. These are what my back pieces are looking like. I've gone ahead to add my band to them also. Now the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to fix my zipper to this. First thing first is to close up this zipper area and connect it all the way to the overlapping area. After doing that, I'll fix my zip and then stitch on that overlapping area so it can balance on the skirt. This is what the back of my skirt is looking like. I've gone ahead to do everything I said I'm going to do. Now I'm just going to place the front and the back sides, right sides facing each other, and then shape it all around, all through with my measurements. With that, guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and also comment. Thank you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.